arrived in Haiti in April. It was right after the earthquake. I think myself, like a lot of people, were watching the news, seeing the situation, and wanted to do something. I really felt like with my background, having had experience in the field, I could actually do something and be of help. I contacted the Canadian Red Cross. I was working for the Red Cross at the time in Halifax, and I contacted them, and I was trained and deployed in April. Despite all the experience that I've had in the past, I was actually a little bit nervous. There'd been so much in the news, and I knew that the level of destruction was really widespread. Coming out of the airport, I was really marked by the amount of debris and rubble in the streets. Buildings completely collapsed. 4-story buildings were completely reduced to almost nothing. Yet at the same time, people were going on with their lives and seemed to almost not even pick up on the surroundings. It just, I was really surprised that people were able to sort of just carry on with all this chaos around them. Primarily what the Canadian Red Cross is doing here is trying to provide improved shelter for people who were directly impacted by the earthquake. So my job is to work with a team of Haitian men and women who would go out into the community and evaluate the needs, interview families, and actually select those who will receive a shelter. I'm really lucky to work with a group of incredibly motivated, positive group of young people. They're between the ages of about 22 to 30. Most of them were Haitian Red Cross volunteers before coming on board as staff with the Canadian Red Cross. They're from the local area. Most of them are from Jacmel, and basically they go out daily and they're the front lines of the Canadian Red Cross, meeting with families, doing interviews, and also explaining what we're here to do and the rationale of our program. So today is a typical week for the field teams. They're going out to one of the rural communities where they're going to start to select families. So in the past 6 months, they've done a fairly rapid evaluation of the surrounding area. They're now going back to these families and just verifying the information and making sure that it's correct, and then walking these families through the legal process. So making sure that they're actually owners. If they're not owners of the land, then getting authorization from the owners so that we as the Canadian Red Cross can build and move forward with the construction phase. It's been challenging, particularly in this area, because we work both in the inner city context, which is quite dense and really difficult in terms of construction, but also working in very remote rural areas where you're trying to get up into the mountains, crossing rivers, with very little infrastructure. So it's a challenging context to work. I've really been struck by the fact that there are people who have been living in really difficult conditions for a long time, but yet they still manage to find joy in life and joke and laugh and be generous. And I've seen that in other parts of the world, and it gives me a lot of hope. People are picking up their lives, they're repairing their houses, they're painting, beautifying the city. People are definitely sort of cleaning up in general. There's a lot less debris in the streets. It's easier to get around. New businesses are opening. You also can tell that there's been some money coming into the country. There's houses being built, and things seem to be improving slowly. A lot of people have given money to Haiti, and it's important. I think it's important to choose carefully who you give to. I wouldn't recommend jumping on a plane and coming here. A lot of people have done that, and it's not necessarily the best way to get involved. Making donations is an important way, and at least that gives those organizations who have the experience to hit the ground running, to implement the programs and to use that money the best way they can. For me, it's really important also to volunteer in your own community. Getting involved with the Red Cross in Canada, that's how I got started. I started as a volunteer with the Canadian Red Cross and worked with the Red Cross in Canada. So get involved in your own community, figure out what the Red Cross is doing, and educate yourself too.